purpose of this video series is to give you a 6-week, slowly getting harder each week program that takes you from your 6 weeks postpartum, or it can be several months or years after your baby's born, but it will take you to slowly give you strengthening so that you're ready to go back to running safely for your pelvic floor, your core, and prevent running related injuries. Throughout this program, you should not have any pelvic pressure, any leaking, any doming or like bulging of your belly out during any of the exercises, or any like ripping or spreading sensation in your abdominal wall. If you do, that tells us that the exercises are too difficult for your pelvic floor or for your abdominal wall, and you need some individualized guidance. And if you're in Richmond, I'm happy to give that guidance to you. And if you're not, I recommend finding a board-certified women's health physical therapist in your area. So we're going to start with getting on the ground, and we're going to start with finding the muscles of the deep core. So laying on your back, you're going to contract the muscles of your pelvic floor as if you were trying to stop urine or gas. And when you do that, notice how the muscle here on the inside of your hip bones gets hard. And then when you relax, notice how it softens and lets go. That's the transversus abdominis. So again, drawing in like you were holding back urine or gas, or like you are putting on a tight pair of pants. That muscle draws in and up toward the head ever so slightly. And then relax and notice how it softens. And again, squeeze the muscle as if you're stopping urine or stopping gas, or wearing your tight pair of pants. And you're holding for 10 seconds. And then notice how when you relax, it softens. That's the transversus abdominis. That muscle is important to stabilize your spine, and it's important to give your six-pack muscles good support and to help to close the gap if you're having some diastasis, which is very, very common. All right, so we're going to use that muscle throughout the exercises. I'm going to give you just a few repetitions so that you can see what they look like, and then you can use the program on your own with the repetitions and the sets written out. So with bridging, you're going to draw in the transversus abdominis and lift your hips until they're in line with your knee and shoulder. And here you're breathing throughout, making sure you're not holding your breath. And coming down, and then relaxing in between each one. And then again, activating that transversus abdominis as if you're holding back urine or gas. Lifting the hips so that they're in line with the shoulders and the knees. You're still feeling how that muscle is firm. You're still feeling how your glutes and hamstrings are working. And then lower. Notice how I'm not tilting my pelvis. I'm not flattening my back with this. The pelvis stays neutral, so not flat, not extra arched, but right in between. Activate the transversus abdominis by putting on your tight pair of pants. And then lifting until your hips are in line with your shoulder and knee. Breathing throughout. Always practicing talking, counting out loud, or just on purpose breathing throughout all the exercises. And then slowly lower. Next, we're going to do clams. So laying on the side, again, activating the transversus abdominis, like you're holding back a little bit of urine or gas and feeling the firmness between the hip bones, and then lifting the knee. Breathing. So it becomes a hip exercise as well as a core exercise. and then lowering. My back is not flat and it's not overarched, it's right in between. Drawing the transversus abdominis like you're stopping your inner gas or putting on your tight pair of pants. Feeling with your finger how the muscle gets firm and it stays firm even though you're talking or breathing or counting out loud to 10. And then lowering the knee. And then notice how it softens when you relax and let go. A lot of times it's hard to feel it when you contract it, but it's easy to feel it when you let go because it softens. So activating the transversus abdominis and lifting the knee. And then lowering and softening. Next, you're going to straighten your leg for hip abduction on your side. Here, it's really important to have the leg back behind your hip. If it's too far forward, this exercise feels really easy. So drawing it back, keeping the leg behind the hip, using the transversus abdominis, still breathing as you lift and lower. Lift and lower. So throughout this exercise, you're going to be using the transversus abdominis. You're going to feel it on the side hip muscle and the glute med. Really important muscle for stabilizing the pelvis when you're on one leg, and really important for postpartum and for running. Weakness here can contribute to knee pain and back pain. All right, so following the repetitions on your guide, so that's the hip abduction on your side. Next, you're going to go into hands and knees. Here, you're going to find not cow and not cat, but right in between, called table. And you're going to draw your transversus abdominis in, again, just like we did before, by putting on your tight pair of pants. The muscle pulls in and up toward your head just a little bit, or doing that, holding back gas a little bit. And you're going to keep that activated as you extend your fingertips toward the opposite wall. So here we're working the core. It's really common after you have a baby to have weakness there because those muscles are overstretched for 9 months, and they need a little help coming back online for daily activities and for running. So that's what we're working on. In between each arm lift, you can relax, and that can help you feel the transversus abdominis, and then you can reset. So it's a reset, and then extending the opposite fingertips. And then lower. Again, following the repetitions on your guide. Next, you're going to come into standing, and we're going to do squats. So you're going to breathe in as you squat down, and breathe out as you squat up. You should have no pain or no strain in any of your joints, particularly your knees, as you're moving throughout this. Breathing in on the way down and out on the way up. As you're squatting, you can start to pay attention to the movement of your pelvic floor. As you breathe in, the pelvic floor comes down, and as you breathe out, the pelvic floor comes up. It moves like a piston with your diaphragm, so they always move together. So when your diaphragm moves down when you breathe in, your pelvic floor moves down. And when your diaphragm moves up, your pelvic floor moves up. And that piston-like or that dynamic movement happens throughout running, and it's really important that you're not holding your breath and not holding your gut in when you're running and when you're moving, because that can contribute to leaking. So that's that movement, and as you're squatting, you can kind of start to feel that. Your pelvic floor lengthens and your pelvic floor shortens. Your seat bones spread a little bit and your seat bones come together a little bit. Your tailbone extends a little bit. Your tailbone comes under a little bit. It's not a huge movement, so if you're just feeling it a little bit, that's good. And if you don't feel it at all, just kind of imagining it can help you connect with those muscles. The last exercise on your guide is pelvic floor muscle exercises. I'm not a huge believer in Kegels for the general population, but after you have a baby, they are often an appropriate exercise to do. But the contraction and the relaxation are important parts of it. So with this, you can see you have the superficial muscles or the outer muscles that are like the closure muscles, and you have the deep muscles that are like the lift muscles. So together we're going to squeeze the muscles like you're trying to hold back urine or gas, and see if you feel the closure around the urethra, the vagina, and the anus, and see if you feel the elevator going up to the 10th floor. Good, and then relax. That relaxation should happen really, really fast as well, and it's just as important as the contraction. And again, squeeze your pelvic floor, squeezing around the urethra, the vagina, and the anus, squeezing around the opening, and feeling the lift, the elevator goes up. And then relax. And that relaxation should happen really, really fast. Squeezing again. Feeling the squeeze, feeling the elevator go to the 10th floor, and drop your muscles. So following your guide for those pelvic floor muscle exercises, and you should feel the drop quickly. If you are having difficulty with that, you can reach out for a consultation. And you should also have no pain down there, and definitely no pain with sex once you resume sexual activity. So just be on the lookout for that.